Hello YouTube fans, here again. And I figure why not, this one, an unestimated sequel, that being Fright Night Part 2. That's right, Fright Night Part 2. And after the big success in 85 as the original, the classic Fright Night, they decided to make a few comic books of Fright Night. And it was only into, let's say, 1988, they decided why not, do a sequel, being Fight Night Part 2. After the big success of the comic books and so on, they decided to make a sequel. So, Robbie McDowell prides his role as Peter Vincent, same as the same actor that stars as Tiny Brewster. I do know originally the original storyline was going to be Evil Ed gets resurrected and he's going to come back from the dead and all this to get his revenge. And in all fairness, I'm kind of happy it didn't go that route. I'm happy it didn't go that route because to me it would have been too OTT. And not only that, at the time I meant to say, um, the actor who we all know played Evil Ed was doing another film called 976 Evil, which, funny enough, if you've ever seen that film, does have a love letter to the original Fight Night. There's a assuming you got an original poster of the film. So I'm kind of happy it didn't go with that route, I meant to say, and have it as a different story. And I actually like the vampires in it. I think they're unique. You've got one that eats bugs. You've got one on roller skates. You've got one that doesn't know if it's a frigging werewolf or a vampire. They all have different characteristics. They all have different characteristics. And that's what I like about the movie Fight Night Part 2. They all got different characteristics. So I kind of like that. I think it makes it different, makes it a different gnome, and it makes it unique. So we're going to go with the film. So the film, sadly to say, wasn't as successful as the original one, and it's the same because over the years, I had mixed reviews on it when I first saw it. But looking at it with different eyes, I remember saying this before, it's a good film. So you've got Tiny Brewster, it shows bits of the original one, and he's telling the story, and he's got a psychiatrist. My only issue is they don't bring back the actress that played Amy. He's now got a new love interest. I think at the time, the actress, as we all know, was doing a comedy show called Married with Kids. Who remembers that? Married with Children. So because he was in that, obviously he couldn't get the role to play Amy again. But I'm kind of happy, he's got a new girlfriend, he's got new mates, and his mum now is probably working a night shift, and he's now in like a cottage, like an high school. And at first he's looking around, he's thinking, is he paranoid and not? There's bits where they visit Peter Vincent, and that's when all the vampires come in. There's a bit where one's fucking with Ty, and he's imagining he's trying to touch his girlfriend up using mind control, and he manages to snap out of it. And like I said, there's a lot of good scenes in it. And there's a good bit where he's got the steak, he's got the Tarek, and so on. And he goes back to Peter Vincent because his mate, there's a mate, right, bowls a tie. If you've ever seen this actor before, sad to say he's no longer with us, may he rest in peace. But he played in Star Trek 2, Bath of Time, Captain T-Shirt's son. And he also played The Search for Spock. So he sees him getting bit by vampires. There's a bit before that where you've got a trolley stir and she gets viciously bit by the vampire with stakes. But anyway, to cut the story short, he sees Peter Vincent, they go to the house, sort of like a nightclub, sort of like a nightclub. And there's a date scene in it where they're staking the vampires. But before all that, like I say, he's got a toss and the guy says, hey, take it easy. And it turns out it's just a night, it's like a party. But then Peter Vincent, halfway through the film, discovers to not tasting perfections. It's halfway through. It's still repeating itself. My only issue is she's got one woman in it and she comes to be the sister of the one from the original, the one that got killed. I felt that was a little bit in your face. To me, I felt it would have been better just to have different vampires. That's my only issue. But again, the practical effects, I would miss them golden errors. So at first, Hardy thinks it's an act. He doesn't believe it. This time, it's the way around that Peter Vincent believes it. Because before that, you got the vampire woman saying what he's going to do. But this is my only issue and all, because if you've seen the original Fight Night, Peter Finson got his courage, he got his confidence, and he was no longer afraid, and he had faith in the toss. Suddenly, what? They make him scared again? Come on. So that's the only issue I have in Fight Night 2. Not two big ones. One about, did they have to have the vampires long lost fucking sister from the original? I didn't think that was needed. And the one where Peter Fincher now not got his faith now and he's scared again after what he went through in number. So that's my only issue. But the rest of it, it's not a bad film. I think it's very dull. I like the bit with the vampires eating bugs. Makes it unique. So this time the sister's getting revenge. She turned fucking Tari into a vampire. And there's a funny bit where he's going to eat pizza, and because it's got Tari, he spits it out. But I do love the bit where they're in a bowling alley, and you've got a human head. You might remember it in the original trailer. I thought that was like funny. So it does have humour in this one. It's not as serious, even though the original was comedy as well. This one's definitely a lot more comedy. There's another little issue in it. The satietist who is helping Tari out, he turns into a vampire and he's trying to attack the new girl. You never even knew he was a fucking vampire. You never even explained how he became a fucking vampire. Because he worked in daytime. So how the fuck is he a vampire when he's working in daylight? So it never even explained that. So that's my only other issue. But again, still not a bad film. There's a bit where the vampire woman's taking over Peter Finson's job. Peter Finson goes in and he gets attacked. Like I said, they bail him out eventually because he knocks somebody out, the satietist, so he gets staked. So Peter Finson gets out because they put him in prison thinking he's a vampire woman. I felt really she got the job. Okay, she's a fucking actress. But I do love the bit where they break in, they're fighting the vampires. You've got the one with the stakes, they put a blanket on it with a toss, melts his face, beautiful. They kill the other vampire, but the best one of all is the one with the nails in the chest, the one that eats bugs. I just love the bit where the bugs are coming out of him. Again, good practical effects. I won't miss that golden era. And then they kill the female vampire. She thinks she's got the better. She's going to get Charlie to attack his woman. And so on. And Peter Finson gets his confidence again. But I do love the bit. He's got this mirror and he's signing it across the sun. Charlie gets the hands. He drags her. She gets all burnt. She goes on fire. She falls in a coffin. Brown bed. The coffin blows up. And then you've basically got Charlie Brewster telling the story what happened because his dad got knocked out. They make out. There's a funny bit where it says, making babies. And end of movie. And it's the same way this one wasn't a success. But like I said, there's a few little nitpicks. I was nicky-picky on like Peter Finson not having his confidence and now he's scared again. He doesn't have faith in the toss. That's one. The other one, the satietist being a vampire. Where the fuck did that come from? And the third one, the sister. Come on. But the rest of it, I didn't mind it. I like the vampires in it. I like the werewolf one. He's trying to get it on with Charlie Sturfend. I like the one that eats bugs. I like the cool deaths they all get. And again, I do know because it wasn't as successful, they did not make that. And it's the same way. I love to see Robbie McDowell one more time, pricing his role as Peter Finson. But as we all know, sad to say, he's no longer with us. May he rest. And it's also heartbreaking. Instead, we get a shitty fucking remake with Stephen Farrell. A sequel, which is technically just a remake of that. And what really, really pisses me off is this doesn't get nothing. It doesn't get a DVD, doesn't get a Blu-ray, doesn't get Diggity D. Doesn't. I had to get a fucking rip of it of all things. But this one, I actually like this one. I think it's a damn unestimated sequel. It's a damn worthy sequel. I love it. That being Fright Night Part 2. But into them people, be smart, be safe. See you later.